Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we are here. We got quite a bit of news that we can talk about on our 201st episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast.
A new era.
We New era. We went to a game last night to celebrate. Didn't quite go. I know as you were hoping. We had a lot of happy Flames fans around us. Um, but yeah, I guess we got plenty of different kinds of news, all kinds of stuff. We'll just dive right in. Unless you have something you want to talk about beforehand, where do you want to start?
First thing I just want to say, before we dive into the action here, for Tuesday's episode might be a bit delayed, from the usual, Tuesday morning. And that it really just depends on how Sunday goes because the Saskatchewan Roughriders are in the Grey Cup, taking place in Winnipeg. So, obviously as big Rider fans, if they win, the episode on Tuesday, I think, will probably be recorded on the Tuesday, probably not the Monday.
Yeah.
But if they unfortunately lose, it'll probably be business as usual for us. So kind of just throwing that out there. So if anybody's, already mentally preparing to drive to work Tuesday morning, listen to us, may not happen. There is a chance that even if the Riders win, maybe we still get the episode out on time on Tuesday. But again, who knows? Who knows? Just throwing it out there, but go Riders. It's going to be a great weekend. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. But with that, we can dive into the news we got.
All right, let's start it off with some huge news here. Colorado extends goaltender Scott Wedgewood for 1 year with 2.5 mil AAV extension. Blockbuster.
I mean, people say blockbuster, but I really like this for
I do
Colorado.
actually like it though. He's been very good for him.
The one thing that does suck is already looking at it. I'm going to say it because you got a good kick out of it last night. The goaltending market when it comes to free agency this year is going to be turbo dog shit. It is going to be, it's going to be very bad. And I mean, that's fine, I guess. I think when you look at most teams, their goaltending situations aren't awful.
There's not a lot of teams that are horrendously goaltended at the moment. Like, there's
you look
some
at
teams
what were the teams last year? Detroit was a major one. I mean, Edmonton is, but we know they don't care to address it.
Horrendous. It's just not cup worthy, and the rest of their team is at the moment. So it looks worse. But they still got much better goaltending than Detroit. The Flyers, I think, were the worst goaltended team in the league last year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
they had real bad numbers.
And it's been much improved for them this year as well.
Vladar's been fantastic for him this year.
Very good. So, but for Colorado, I mean, I like it. You keep the Wood duo you got there between Blackwood, Wedgewood. For Wedgewood, I mean, he's been stellar this year. I believe still right now he's leading the league in wins.
I think so.
Still, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's 1 year, 2.5. It's a cheaper deal, and it's for who's proven to be a very solid backup.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. At a moment's notice, if they wanted to, they could move that if they needed to, or if another goalie became available they want to bring in. There's no complaints I would have over this.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, we have another extension. We got Ottawa extending Shane Pinto 4 years, 7.5 mil AAV.
Yeah.
That's a little bit rich, it feels like, but Shane Pinto also been very good for them this year, and he's been this good while missing that. Did he miss, what was it, half a season, 41 games?
Not last year, but the year before. And he was 27 points in 41 games that year. So it was looking pretty good. Like he came back off that suspension and was ready to prove himself. Last year didn't quite go as well. He did have 21 goals, which was nice, but only 37 points in 70 games. He was a plus 10, but the offensive numbers weren't quite there. And then this year, it's been definitely a step forward for him. 18 games this year, 9 goals, 15 points. So if he can maintain this, the level that he's playing at currently, I think it's a fine deal.
Yeah.
But if he, I don't want to say regress because like he is only 25. But if he takes a step back at any point in this season, or his role maybe gets diminished and the point totals go down once Brady Tkachuk comes back, it could be a deal that I might not like. It's really kind of too early to say. It's one of those deals where, in next year we could be saying, yeah, this is a really good deal for Ottawa, but we could also be saying this is a potentially a rough contract.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty on the nose with it. I think it's more than likely going to work out for them just because 7.5 isn't a huge price tag, and it's only for 4 years. And obviously, every contract conversation, the cap's going up. So, yeah, like right now, he's on pace to score 40 goals on the season, 70 to 75 points, probably. Like, you'll absolutely take that for.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a
7.5.
40-goal guy and he's only making 7.5, that's a great deal then.
Yeah.
Even if he gets to that 35 mark, but he's still putting up 70 points. If he's a 35 and 35 guy by the end of the year in this NHL, now that's fine at 7.5, but it needs to get there.
Does it
can't
even need
be
to get that
a
high
hot
at those numbers? Like, what if he goes?
I still think so.
What if he goes? Let's say 30 goals, 55 points, 30 goals, 25 assists. Do you take that for a probably not top line, but a top 6 guy for 7.5? I think
yes, but it would be
a lot closer to market value. That's not like a value contract anymore, but I think it's still a deal at that point, right? Like, I think it's still one you don't regret.
I think it's semi-solid as long as with that he's a player that it's you can trust him in defensive situations.
That's true.
Right?
He can't be
it's
offense only and scoring.
Yeah, and only that exactly. So yeah, even if he's around 30 goals, but he, like a 30 and 30, but you can still trust him to play good defensively, and you can trust him in certain positions. Then I think it's absolutely fine.
He is a good defensive player, right? Like he plays on the. Does he play on the penalty kill?
Let me look.
I thought I saw he has 1 or 2 shorthanded goals this year. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else.
When is this? How old is Shane Pinto right now? 25. He just turned 25. So this is from this season. So at even strength offense, he's 78%, pretty dang good. Even strength defense, 88%. So penalty kill, 44%, but that's I don't think that's entirely on him. So yeah, that's fine then. Yeah, if you get a 30 and 30 out of him and he's a solid defensive player, or actually he's quite a bit above a solid defensive player.
Yeah.
All for it then.
At just turning 25, 6'3", just over 200 pounds. The more and more we dissect this, is starting to look better and better.
But the offensive numbers still have to be there. Like he can't
be there.
He can't just end up being, a 40 to 45 point guy per season. Unless you literally just make him into a penalty kill specialist. Yeah. And I don't think you want that because he's proven he can be a good offensive player on a team like Ottawa that kind of needs it. So yeah, if he keeps doing where he's at, what he's doing, it's probably going to turn out to be a really good deal.
Yep. Good for Ottawa.
The more I look at it, though, I'm starting to like it a lot more.
Frankly, I feel like, for the longest time, we didn't see a ton of deals out of Ottawa that we could say, that looks like some good business. Like it was either them just like crazy overpaying for guys or not willing to give them the money. Good players walk, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They've been on a bit of a run here with some good deals, getting bringing in Cousins and, getting some of their better
deal.
Jake Sanderson
Linus
deal.
Ullmark.
How long are Stützle and Tkachuk locked in for? Have they gotten long-term deals yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think Stützle has at least 6 years still. So after this year, not including this year, 1, 2. So Brady Tkachuk's only got 2 years after this year. So he's wrapping up his big deal. And Stützle, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for Stützle because he's a UFA in 2031.
Right. Man, that's a good deal on Stützle too. 8.35.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like there's any trade protection at all. Like,
so
damn.
Most of their core is pretty much
still
locked
23. Jesus Christ! Every time I check, I swear he's getting younger.
Yeah, so Ottawa's got pretty much their core kind of locked up now, and now it's just finding those extra pieces to bring in for a playoff run, like you trade for them and you go for it, and if you don't, you lose them or what. But the core that they're kind of building in place, they've got, and they still have some young players that haven't made the jump to the NHL that they're gonna have coming up.
Yeah, Tkachuk, a big one.
Yeah. The only tough part about Ottawa right now is they have their first round pick this year, as obviously they used their first last year and left this year for from the Dadonov.
I really do think, and I do think that was the right call for multiple reasons, because one, it gives the league more time for dust to settle on why it got taken away with the Dadonov situation, so that maybe they have a better chance this year of appealing it and getting it back. Because we've seen that happen in the past. I believe with the New Jersey Devils, with the Kovalchuk thing, they lost a first rounder. I believe they waited all 3 years, and at the end, the league was like, "Fine, just have the pick back. We don't care.
Just take it back." Yeah.
So I think it's good on that, but also I think they're a good young team. Keep improving. They have reason to believe this will be the best they've been in the past while. So the pick will be worth the least.
Yeah. And potentially, if they get it back before the trade deadline, you can use that first to get, something to add for a playoff run potentially.
How funny would it be if they made a trade that sent that first over to Vegas, or if they traded for Dadonov or something?
Is Dadonov even in the league anymore?
I mean,
probably, but I haven't really heard of him lately. I don't even know. Surely he must be. Is he still on Dallas? I don't even know where he's at.
Dadonov. 1 game played for the New Jersey Devils. 0 counting stats across the board. And he has an asterisk beside his name for it. No longer on active roster. So he played.
There we go.
So we got to play 1 game for him, and
just said, I've had enough.
I was say, so was that a PTO? Can you play NHL games on a PTO?
No.
Huh. Did they buy him out and then he decide I'm going back to Russia? He hasn't played a professional game in Russia yet.
I mean, it says he's still with the New Jersey Devils. So I don't know. Maybe he's just on LTI or something.
Yeah, maybe. I thought he'd played more games in his career.
He's decent a bit considering how much time he spent off in the KHL.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I thought he was playing all the way through. He played, for 3 different seasons from 2009 to 2012. Then he was in the AHL and KHL sporadically all the way till 2017. That's where all the games played was missed. I thought he played during that time. I thought he was at a damn near 1,000 games.
No, he was gone for a decent bit. But we should move on from the Pinto extension here. Next, we got a little bit of stuff about the Vancouver Canucks. I'll let you dissect this. Actually, I fix this up.
Yeah. So I believe general manager Jim Rutherford for the Vancouver Canucks did an interview with, I believe it was Sportsnet. Yes, with Sportsnet recently, and they asked him quite a few questions that normally don't get asked to GMs, and he also answered a lot of questions that, if get asked, GMs normally will not answer.
I think he's the president of hockey ops with the Canucks.
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
Which is even more kind of weird that he's the one making the calls on this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So they asked him a lot of questions. The biggest one going around is he they asked him what they thought would happen with Quinn Hughes if he was going to stay or if he was going to leave and go play with his brothers, and whether or not that would constitute a rebuild. How would he handle that? Would he trade him before he walks? What's going on? And Rutherford said that he believes he has the authority from the owners, the Aquilinis, to conduct a rebuild, but he has no plans for one, specifically stating that even if Quinn Hughes leaves, he is still not going to put them into a rebuild. I've already seen plenty of Canucks fans online saying that not if Quinn Hughes leaves and they don't go into rebuild, there's plenty of them that are like, I'm looking for a new team. Like that would be it for me. Because they're hardly a playoff team right now. If they lose Quinn Hughes, I
They're
can't
screwed.
see them being competitive.
And that's why I fully believe that he's just kind of throwing this out there. And I guess a big part of it is, because I mean, it depends on I mean, if you keep Quinn Hughes, you're obviously not, rebuilding. Like you're going for it because you've got one of the two best defensemen in the world on your team. But if Quinn Hughes leaves, the big part of it is, does he, just walk to free agency and probably sign with New Jersey or wherever, or do they trade him? Because then at least if you trade him, you get enough stuff back that you're probably not getting pieces to contend, but you're probably getting a big enough haul back that you can do a retool. And you don't have to, tear it down for a full rebuild. So I do kind of understand what he's saying. The biggest thing again is, if Quinn Hughes does end up leaving, which way does he leave? Is it he's walking out the door, or he's getting traded somewhere? And especially if you trade, if New Jersey opens up the money, you trade him to New Jersey and there's an extension in place, now you're getting even more back. Whereas if you traded him to say Carolina or whatever, a team that has the pieces to give up for him, but he doesn't necessarily want to sign there, kind of Rantanen situation, you won't be getting as much back if there's no extension.
Right.
So I do understand it, because you don't necessarily need to do a full rebuild. But if Quinn Hughes is leaving, even if you're the best team in the league and looking to go for it, you got to move him. If he's not re-signing, you have to trade him and you have to get a haul back for him, because you absolutely could. So I do understand where, kind of what Rutherford is saying. It's just you got to figure it out. Yeah, if he's leaving, then you have to just trade him and do a quick retool with the boatload of assets that you're going to be getting back.
Yeah, and man, just every time this team and their organization open their mouth, it's so few times.
It's rough.
So few times have they been like, guys, shut the fuck up. We're not trading Quinn Hughes. Man, if they asked John Cooper, hey, Cooch's contract is up in 2 years, he'd say, fuck off. Next question. If they asked Jared Bednar, what are your plans for Cale Makar? He said, fuck off. Next question. Every time in Vancouver, they entertain these ideas so heavily. It's like they're trying to get their fan base prepared for this player leaving. It really feels like they are prepping for it. And that's just brutal. You got to hope that this team is going to back up the Brinks truck and give this guy enough money to stay, whatever that number is.
Yeah. But I think on top of that, you also do need to show him that they've got a path for being a contending team and potentially winning a cup. Because Quinn Hughes is wants to win more than anything, and I don't see a world where he signs his big extension to stick around just to be on a mid Canucks team for the next however long, right? They do need to have a plan in place and be able to show that to him, that show him that there is a path to winning a cup in Vancouver, because that's ultimately what's going to be the biggest factor for him, whether he decides to stay or whether he's gone.
Yeah. And in this interview, Rutherford does go into it a bit about if anyone out there hasn't read the transcript or watched it, I do recommend it. He does talk about, there's how some people will say rebuild, some people will say transition, retool, like all these different words. Some people have different assigned meanings to them. Um, but he says, like, he goes into depth on why he doesn't want to tear it all down if Quinn Hughes were to leave, because he named some guys like they have Willander and Pedersen and Lekaramaki and Braden Coots. Like they have a lot of
Brock
these young
Besser's,
guys.
it's like, he
Brock
signed a big
Besser's back.
extension to stick around. Yeah.
Like they have a lot of these good players, but these young players that are prospects coming up that they really like. So they're like
Hmm.
they still have a a future showing up there, and I think that's
Hmm.
hopefully a big selling point to Quinn Hughes of like, hey, look at all these good young players that are coming up through our system and doing well.
Absolutely.
They they got to
Absolutely.
get
Yeah.
a freaking practice uh, facility built. Like,
There's a lot of stuff they got to get going on in Vancouver. Absolutely. One other thing with the Canucks, it is worth noting Thatcher Demko out 2 to 3 weeks with a minor undisclosed injury. So thankfully, it's not anything long term. It's sounding like for Demko, but can't really say much else other than because don't know what the injury is. So don't know if it's you know linking to his previous injuries that he's dealt with, or if this is something new. We got no clue, but only
yeah,
2 to 3 weeks, and they do have Lankinen, who has proven he can handle a big workload. He
he
proved that
he could
last
be
year,
the
time and
guy
time
if
again.
needed.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's tough for Demko out, but at least they do have a good enough backup that you know can get him through this time here.
Uh, we don't have this written down, but it just made me think of it, and I want to get your opinion on it. Um, are you surprised more teams don't do that? Saying he's out with a minor undisclosed injury, and that's it. Like
Um,
we're constantly hearing upper body injury, lower body injury, a head injury. Like they're giving out this info, and like they leave it at that because they don't want a guy's hand targeted. But like we can all extrapolate often what an upper body injury ends up being. Like, is there a reason that they don't just say he's out this long with an injury? Because
I don't know.
I didn't know this until recently, but there are plenty of rules in place that you're not allowed to lie about the injuries. If it's a lower body injury, you like the team will be in huge shit with the doctors in the league if they say his ankle's hurt and they go an upper body injury to try and like
Hmm.
trick other teams. So obviously they
Yeah,
don't do that, but you're allowed to just you can't lie, but you can withhold information. You can just say he's out with
yeah.
an undisclosed something. So I'm surprised more teams don't just do that. And like, why? Why do people need to know it's upper body if we're not even getting the full story, right? Like at a
Well,
certain point, how much does that
I think
info help?
also at sometimes though it's I think some teams, if you had the chance to say undisclosed injury, you probably would. But how many times have we seen photos or news immediately come out and be like, this player leaves game with an injury, and then they're seen in like a boot
A
leaving the
boot, yeah,
arena.
they got an arm
Or a
cast,
player
yeah,
gets injured and you look and it's like, oh, their shoulder went in. So then they know right away, oh, he's out. Well, it's because he went into the
yeah.
boards, and look at his shoulder here. It's very tough to be able to get away with saying undisclosed. Like, I mean, with Demko, because of the injury history and whatnot, there's a bunch of things it could be. And with goalies, it's kind of tough to tell because they usually get, bumped into, or, sometimes you can tell when it's maybe like a groin injury. Um,
Just with goalies, I
so
would
yeah,
normally assume lower body, but yeah, it's
yeah,
hard to tell. Yeah,
yeah.
like yeah, if a guy gets hit in the head by Truba or something like that, uh, you know, obviously we all know it's a concussion or a jaw or something. Like we know where it is, but
Yeah.
there's I am surprised there's more of these where you don't see anything, and then all of a sudden after the game, it's like, oh, this guy's week to week with a lower body injury. I wonder when that happened, and everyone's taking a guess at
Mhm.
was it maybe a shot block? He took a big shot block, but it didn't look like it hurt him that much. When did it happen?
Mhm.
So I'm surprised we don't see a little bit more often of he's injured. Don't ask questions. He'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Especially with as of late, it's been a bit of a conversation with players seem to be getting targeted a little bit more. Players are, more and more, especially with the Panthers winning these back to back cups. Before that, it was Vegas. Like, so some of these teams,
Yeah.
are very much not above targeting a specific injury. Like, was it Petrangelo who like hacked the fuck out of Draisaitl?
Yeah.
Like,
And it's kind of becoming a thing where whether teams admit it or not, like every team we're kind of starting to slowly see do it if they know that there's a certain injury. And it's more common in the playoffs, especially because you're
yeah,
playing the same team over
very
and
few
over.
teams do it in the
Um,
regular season. Like, unless it's like late March and you know you're gonna meet them in the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
or like, the Battle of Florida, the Battle of Alberta, like teams that fucking hate each other, which
Yeah.
frankly, there's not a ton of in the league right now that hate each other to the
Not as
point of
many. Yeah.
targeted injuries in December.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it, used to be. But we can move on from the
Yeah.
Canucks and their mess. The Toronto Maple Leafs activated goaltender Joseph Woll after his conditioning stint, so they will get Joseph Woll back.
That's phenomenal news for the Leafs. Stolarz was great last year, fantastic last year, actually. He was very good to start the year, and then after that game we talked about against Seattle, where he got ran over, whether it's a vibes thing or an actual underlying injury, his numbers have been frankly horrendous since then.
Yeah,
And
it hasn't been very good. 6-5-1, but a 3.51 goals against and an 8.84 save percentage. The Leafs are 8-8-2, so they do get Joseph Woll back. Hopefully, he can get on a bit of a heater and help the Leafs. But it is tough because Austin Matthews is out at least 1 week with a lower body injury,
lower body.
which is tough for the Leafs. You lose your number one guy in Austin Matthews. It'll be kind of interesting to see what
Yeah.
the Leafs can do here because again, you are 8-8-2. Like you are the third bottom team in the East.
Oh, not even the Atlantic, the East.
The East, the only two teams below them is Washington and Buffalo.
8-8-2 puts you third last in the conference. Wow.
Yeah.
Weren't we saying like 2 or 3 weeks ago how bad the East has looked and how the West was farming? Like, what's going on, man? This year has
The
been so
Leafs have
bizarre.
but you got to remember how good the Atlantic and you know the Metro, especially when you look at how well Pittsburgh and the Islanders are doing, and hell, even the
Yeah.
Flyers, right? Because we were talking about the Sharks, and it was like, oh, they were finally a 500 team, and that was enough to get them up into like a playoff spot
Yeah.
for a short period of time. Um, so it's just kind of the East is a dogfight, and losing Matthews doesn't help, but it is only a week. It's sounding like, but it's still not good for the Leafs. So hopefully Joseph Woll can come in and
Yeah.
you know get hot now and help the team string together a couple of wins and get back into the fight before
They
it
haven't been
starts to
getting
become a bigger
goaltending.
mountain to climb.
They haven't been getting goaltending, and they're 8-8-2. They've won and lost
Yeah.
the same amount of games. If you're not counting, if you're doing Gary Bettman 500. So yeah, and with Austin Matthews, if you know, it sucks because he's injured so often. He hasn't lost a ton of huge amounts of time at once, but there's so many small injuries that just keep
The ones that
popping up.
just
It
keep
really
adding
sucks.
up. Yeah.
Luckily, it is a lower body injury, so we do know, because you're not allowed to lie about it, that
Yeah.
it's not another wrist injury, it's not another hand injury. Thank God, because obviously it sucks consistently seeing people talk about wrist injuries when we're talking about one of the greatest goal scorers we've seen play the game. So it's nice
Mhm.
that it's not that, but yeah, out at least a week. So probably about 10 days if I had to guess, but
Yeah.
we'll
Kind
see
of
when
what,
he
yeah.
comes back.
Got a couple injuries out of Montreal as well. Do you want to hit us with those?
Yeah, so Alex Newhook is going to miss 4 months with a fractured ankle. That that sucks because he was really having a little bit of a breakout year, if I'm not mistaken. Not not anything huge, but I do believe he was performing better than he had for them in the past. Yeah, 12
Yeah.
points in 17 games. Like his
And
career high is 34 points in 55 games.
yeah, so not only does it sucked because, he was having such a good year, but it's also because going into the year, what was the one thing we were always talking about with Montreal? You got to address that
2C.
second center position. And Newhook kind of looked like he was the guy to actually fill that, and they weren't going to need to scramble and fix that. But you've now lost him for 4 months.
Yeah,
And now
that
that means
sucks.
Kirby Dach's the one sliding back into the 2C. And there's a chance Kirby Dach could thrive in that position, but he's up there when you talk about guys like Josh Norris, like guys that have really struggled to stay healthy. And even also in that category, Caden Guhle. He underwent surgery and he's been out for a while. I think he only played like 5 games to start the season and has
Yeah.
been out since he just underwent surgery and is going to miss 8 to 10 weeks. He's a guy also that has really struggled with injuries throughout his career so far. And so those are two big holes now for at least 2 months that Montreal's going to have to try to address. They've obviously been off to a very good start this year. Um, I don't. I don't think I saved it, and I wish I did because they have been off to a very good start, but it's a little bit not quite as hot of a start as people. I mean, it's still a good start, but I wish I had it. It was basically showing their record when they were playing teams that aren't like
Oh,
a playoff team
yeah,
versus they
yeah.
are, and they dominate when it's teams that aren't playoff teams, but when they play playoff teams, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I do think I
And
know the picture that you're talking about with that.
yeah, and now you lose your second line center who has been great this year, and you lose a guy that's a top four defenseman on your team, and you can get a lot of minutes out of him every night. Those are two big holes that they might have to go out and address through a trade or something. Because Montreal is not banking on another top draft pick. They've got their core. It's now it's building around them. It's going out and kind of like
Getting
what with
win now
Ottawa.
players a bit.
It's yeah, you get win now players because you're no longer in that rebuild mode. You can get
Yeah.
to the playoffs. They hung in there pretty well with Washington, who was the top team in the East last year, going into the playoffs at least. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what they're going to be doing here. I don't think you can just sit around and wait for maybe for Guhle you can get by, but I mean for Newhook it's maybe you give a couple games to Doc and see if he can do it, but if he can't,
Might have to go
you,
get
you,
somebody.
you might have to go out there and find somebody. Yep.
Um I think Kadri would be a real good fit for him there. And I
Only
think
Calgary is willing to trade him.
that would like cement them near the bottom, like in the bottom 3. Like that would cement them a top 5 pick at
Yeah.
worst. Um
Yeah.
and since you brought it up, the Canadians in their next bit on the schedule here, they got tomorrow they are facing the Bruins, so probably a non-playoff team. After that, they got the Blue Jackets, probably a not playoff team. After that, they got the Capitals, they got the Maple Leafs, they got the Mammoth, maybe they're a playoff team. They got the Golden Knights, the Avalanche, the Sens, the Jets, the Leafs, the Blues who aren't doing good, and the Lightning. That's a lot of good teams in a row.
Yeah.
Like there's a
So thankfully, I
couple
mean,
fringe playoff teams there, but
the next few games are hopefully easier games, and that's kind of probably where you figure out if there's going to be anyone to take, like a Doc's going to get that first look, but finding somebody to take that second line center position, and
yeah,
you're hoping that you got somebody that can take over for it and lock it down. You don't got to make a move, but if it's not working, yeah, you got to pull the trigger on somebody.
yeah,
Whether it's a Kadri or somebody else, they might have to make that move.
yeah, yeah. They can't just let this season pass them by all the way back in November. Like
Yeah,
you got to get out ahead in front of it.
yeah. Um, so something to keep an eye on. Maybe Montreal will give us our first kind of major trade of the year. Who knows? What else do we got here before our Final
We
thing.
got a new podcast to I guess not really announce, but report on. The Tkachuk brothers, Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, started the first. I'm pretty sure you have it in here, and I was also thinking this. The first NHL podcast hosted by active NHL players, um, called Wingmen. So it kind of makes sense that it would be them. You know, they're guys that love being in the media. They love to talk. It's
Yeah.
very interesting that they're doing this and but not on the same team. Like,
I don't necessarily think so. This is kind of the NHL's version of what is it, New Heights or something? I can't remember the name, but the one that the
the
Kelsey
Kelsey brothers?
brothers do in the NFL, and obviously
How
Jason
long have
Kelsey
they
is
been
now
doing it?
retired, but a couple years at least. And the Kelsey brothers weren't on the same team, obviously, but it brought a lot of attention to the NFL kind of just through them with the stuff that comes out, kind of the stuff they did. And they're two brothers that are goofballs and like to have fun, and that's exactly what the Tkachuk brothers are, two goofballs who like to just have fun and shoot the shit. And I I didn't listen to the full first episode, but one of the things they talked about was, Matthew Tkachuk said if I could implement one rule into the NHL, it would be the 3-2-1 point system.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a very big thing that's gonna get a lot of hockey fans kind of listening to it a bit or watching clips. It's gonna get outside hockey fans, and they have the potential to potentially influence some stuff like implementing the 3-2-1 rule. And
Yeah.
Maybe it's something they can get other players, like maybe they, some other NHL players will hop on for a bit and join them for an episode or for a segment or something,
Yeah.
and maybe get some personality out of some more players or something. I think this is something that could be really beneficial for the league and getting more
Yeah.
eyes on the product and getting more people invested in. We saw what Four Nations did. I think this is something that could do quite well. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, these two are kind of the perfect choice for something like this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna help grow the sport, absolutely, especially in the States. Um it'll be interesting, there's an incredibly real chance that in the next few years, we see Florida and Ottawa, face each other in the playoffs or something like that. Like
Yeah.
are they gonna cancel episodes? I don't know what their schedule looks
I
like now
hope
or in the future.
not. And if they did, I think that would be. I don't want to bash it too much, but again, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a cop out if they just be like, oh, we can't do it, because the Kelsey brothers did theirs when they were facing each other in the Super Bowl, like
Yeah.
to win it all. They were still doing it, and it was all love. And I think that even if you go up against in the playoffs, it's maybe a shit talk each other a bit on it or something or whatever. But I mean, they said it's because I think it's every Wednesday, so it doesn't interfere with us. Thankfully, they knew to work around us.
Yeah. We laid the hammer down. We told them
But
you stay away from our schedule.
yeah, I think it'd be fun if they go up against each other in the playoffs and they start ragging on each other a bit.
Yeah.
Or
It's one of those things where I wonder, like, if other people will tell them not to do it, after,
maybe.
because people were kind of upset. Remember before when I believe he was still at the Flames when Matthew Tkachuk was in the playoffs and Brady was wearing a Flames jersey and he was going and cheering him on in person at those games. And then after a bit, he said, like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go do that anymore."
Well, he said he's not doing it because Matthew went to Florida. Like he was traded to Florida the following year, I'm pretty sure. So he was like, well, now that he's on a team in my division, like I'm not going to do it. But like,
and like
Ottawa and Calgary, they don't have
he's
any
the
rivalry or
captain of
anything,
his
so it's
team.
like,
Like,
yeah. I think it's one of those
it's
things that he also kind of just got a bit older. Like when you're younger, you just want to support him and
yeah,
cheer him on. But it's like now that he's on a, I don't want to say Ottawa and Florida are rivals, but they're divisional teams. So
yeah.
he's
So
kind
there's
of like,
always
I'm
at
not
least
gonna-
a base level of rivalry, right?
Yeah. Like I think he still went to
just by
like
that.
some of the Panthers playoff games, but he wasn't like hyping the crowd up and
Yeah,
wear the jersey or going
I think he
tarps
was
up. Like
just
he was
wearing
just
just like a dress shirt or whatever.
yeah, he was just professional and just there to watch his brother cheer him on, but kind of wanted to stay hidden away. And
Yeah. But like I do see a world where, whether it's higher ups in the Sens organization or whether it's just like the fan base, like people getting upset because like, you know, you're supposed to be our captain leading us through this playoff series and you're just gonna go shoot the shit with a guy that, maybe a guy that, injured Ridley Grieg or something like that. He laid a nasty hit on Stutzel last game and now you're just chopping it
yeah,
up with him.
no,
Like,
that's fair. Yeah, I can actually I can see that.
and you
Yeah,
know
that'd be
what?
something
If
interesting to see
if they
if
do
that
that,
comes to that.
that's going to draw huge numbers for those games in that playoff anyway. So
Yeah.
how much would maybe the GMs like or the coaches like maybe you shouldn't do it. I bet the owners like you should do it because it's probably going to draw some eyeballs. So it would be
Yeah, no, that's
interesting at the bare minimum,
yeah,
regardless of
no,
what decision they
absolutely.
make.
Absolutely. Um So maybe that's something we'll see down the road. Couple milestones if you want to rattle these off, and then we can get into our big stuff here.
Yeah, so we got Brad Marchand becoming the 102nd player in the NHL to reach 1,000 career points. I believe he got it off an assist on an empty netter.
Yeah,
Um, I think he had a 2-point night there. So congrats to Brad Marchand. It's
absolutely.
that's still brutal that he didn't reach that with the Bruins, but
Didn't get it with the bees. Yeah,
what can you do? Um,
not much.
And another one that you put on here that I was a little surprised by, Wyatt Johnston recorded his 100th career goal. He's like 22. Like, this
Yeah,
guy's a baby. He's already had 100 goals. Like
he's a hell of a player.
he's going to be shockingly high up there in all-time goals when all things are all said and done. I don't think he's going
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean, it's
breaking
already
Ovi's record or anything, but 100 when he's this young, like he's probably getting to
and
at least 400,
yeah,
probably
and
a good bit
the
further.
Dallas Stars are already a wagon, and
A
based
lot of
on
those
where
guys
they're at
locked
now
in.
and the way they draft, like they're not going on the decline anytime soon.
They're going to be
So
good for
Wyatt
a
Johnston's
decade.
got at least, if he's there for 8 more years, that's 8 years that the Dallas Stars are going to be a good competitive team. And so there's no slowing down for him if he wants to keep going and he continues because he's probably not even reached his peak. Like Wyatt Johnston's going to continue to get better as well,
Yeah.
as guys like Thomas Harley and all these guys around him. So yeah, it's going to keep climbing the ranks. So as the years and years go on. Yeah, he's one hell of a player.
Yeah.
A very, very good player.
Um,
So I think that was the only two milestones, though. That was the only ones I could find.
yeah.
If I missed one, that's a shame. One thing
Yeah,
here
let us
actually
know.
that just popped up here. The Edmonton. Oh, you'll actually like this one. The Edmonton Oilers send Isaac Howard to the AHL.
Yeah. Get down there, dude.
I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's first of all, if you're sending someone down, he's kind of the guy to go down. Doesn't have to go through waivers.
Yeah.
His run to
That's
start
probably a
season
big
in
part of
NHL
it.
hasn't been the greatest, and I think this is making room for Zach Hyman to come back. The
Most
kind of sounded
likely.
like Zach Hyman was going to be able to return around beginning of November, so we're kind of in that range where he could be coming back at any moment,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just making room to get Hyman back in the lineup and gives Howard a chance to maybe go down the AHL and press, work on a couple things. I'm sure he'll get called back up at some point, get another chance. But
Yeah.
if that were to happen, Edmonton's going to have to be moving somebody out. Who's that going to be? Couldn't tell you, but that's where we're at with Edmonton.
Frankly, I do see this. Yeah, it's incredibly similar to like the Connor Geeky situation in Tampa. Like, in both situations, these guys are good players at this point. They're not fantastic by any stretch yet, but they're both very young. Um, but they are some of the only guys on their respective teams that can be sent down to the minors and not go through waivers. So you don't want to lose anybody else. So you just bite the bullet. You send them down to make that room. And on top of that, there are, it's hard to say because obviously he would be learning a lot playing with guys like Draisaitl and McDavid, but he's
Mhm.
probably going to improve faster regardless playing in the AHL. He's going to go
Yeah.
down there and he's going to get 22 and a half minutes a night as a forward. Like they're gonna give him all the chances in the world, and that ice time's really gonna translate to better development. So
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
it kind of benefits the team and the player in the long term
And the player.
to go for
Yeah.
that.
But now that breaking news out of the way, we can move on into the biggest talking point of the episode here. You can tell by the title. We've got some Olympics talk here. And I've
Yes,
got
I do
something
not
here that
know.
we're going to be
I do
doing.
not know about this either.
Yeah. So you have no idea. People at home have no idea. I do though.
Good for you.
So potentially down the road, we'll do it with some other countries, kind of some of the ones that have where you can make arguments for players. Kind of talking about teams like Sweden, Finland, potentially Czechia, and
Yeah.
so on. But for this episode, we're going to be doing Canada and United States. What I've got here is I've got a list of some players, and now I know there's a very good chance that the two players that I name are both on the team, but I kind of chose players that on similar levels that are, some comparisons are made of will they, won't they type of thing. And I'm just going to throw out the two players to you, and you're just going to pick who
Of those
you
two
would
players.
want on these teams. If it
Okay.
was you had to make the pick, which of these two would you take?
Okay.
So we'll start off with
Before
Canada.
we get the first one, um,
Yeah.
so are these kind of like in a vacuum, or like
What do you mean?
if I pick one player, you do two players, I pick one. For the next one, am I assuming that player is probably also on the team that I said previously? Like,
No, that
um,
doesn't matter.
okay,
That
just
doesn't matter. I'm just
because.
throwing out two players, and which one would you pick if you had to just pick one or the other to be on the team
Okay, very
based
interesting
on the
because
player?
in my mind, a lot of people do think Canada should just bring, pick the top 12 forwards, the top 16
Mhm.
men, and go with that. But like, I do think that you probably want at least a single line that is good defensively. Now, I'm not
Mhm.
saying you go out and bring in Philip Deneau. Like, you don't bring in
Yeah.
a guy who can't score at this point, especially at that level, who's
Yeah.
good defensively. But like, that level of
You do
player
want some
who's
guys that can
a defensive
be
specialist.
out there in like the final minute if you're holding on to a lead or something. Yeah,
Exactly,
absolutely. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So then it's just I'll just throw out two, and you just tell me which you
All
take.
right,
The first one, obviously, we're absolutely going to start here. Connor Bedard or Macklin Celebrini.
Macklin Celebrini.
And it is worth noting, as of right now, they both have the same amount of games played, goals, assists, points, and plus minus. They're at the exact same
Wow.
stat line on the season. So had to start there because that is
Yeah,
the one that everybody is talking about the
I
most.
figured you'd start with that one too. Yep,
Got
100%.
got to start off there. You'll have fun with this one. I know you'll have fun with this one. Nick Suzuki or Anthony Cirelli?
In my opinion, I think I would take both, but that's not the game we're playing. If I have to
Yeah,
pick one, I'm taking Nick Suzuki.
I'm assuming both are probably on the team. I kind of based this one around assuming Mark Scheifele's also there, so it's like which of these two?
Yeah.
Um,
If
if
I
he
was
goes,
building the team, we've already named all three guys that we have on the fourth line. In my opinion, I would go Celebrini, Suzuki, Sorelli. Any of them can take face-offs, which means the rest, whoever takes the first face-off, could be aggressive as fuck to try and win it. They're all great defensively. I think that would just be a really fun line to watch.
definitely could be absolutely Mark Stone or Seth Jarvis.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one. I really want to say Seth Jarvis, but like No, I'm gonna go with Seth Jarvis. Stone
Seth Jarvis.
is he's yeah, he's Stone's getting slower. He continues to get slower, whether that's due to injury or just age. Um,
Yeah.
he has trouble keeping up with like this team. These teams are so fast, and he has trouble keeping
Yeah.
up with them, and that makes it harder for him to play good defense, which is an incredible selling point on him for the most part. So
Hmm.
I think I would go with Seth Jarvis.
Seth Jarvis. Yeah. I don't hate that pick. I think Seth
And
Jarvis
Seth
absolutely
Jarvis,
deserves to be
very
on the
good
team.
start to the year.
Yeah.
He was very fringe player that just made it onto Four Nations last year, but I think he's
Hmm.
improved since then.
I had this one on here. I took it off because I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll just do it anyways. Tom Wilson or Sam Bennett, if one
Uh,
of them were to make it.
yeah, because frankly, there's an there's an argument I might make for both if it was the Four Nations, but this is the Olympics, so yeah, I would say neither. But out of those two, I would go Tom Wilson just because I think he does a little bit better of muscling people off the puck in a way that the Olympic Committee would appreciate more, you know?
Mhm.
Probably get
Yeah.
called less.
Also, all of mine have been the same as yours so far. Like mine, Celebrini, Suzuki, Jarvis. I would take Tom Wilson, but if Team Canada were to pick between the two, I think they would go Sam Bennett,
Yeah,
just
I
solely
agree.
based on
Yeah.
last year alone.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
the actual team would take Bennett.
yeah. This is a fun one here.
Okay.
Matthew Schaefer or Devon Taves?
Matthew Schaefer. I'm
Yeah,
taking the better player. I'm taking
I'm
the
right
better
there with you.
player. I
I'm right there with you.
I understand why Devon Taves gets
Is
brought to
probably going
these
to be on
types
the
of
team.
things. Yeah.
Like he's probably going to be on the team.
He is not bad enough that he shouldn't be in consideration for this.
Hmm.
Like he's not a lock, but he's not bad enough that he shouldn't be talked about. And on top
Yeah.
of that, he's Cale Makar's guy. That's
Yeah.
his dog right there. So
Hmm.
obviously that's why he gets brought up. And I don't think he's a terrible pick to go, but you could have better guys there. And I mean, sure, this is the guy who's worked best with Cale Makar. A lot of guys could probably play pretty fucking well with Cale Makar though. So
Yeah.
and especially
Like
if you put
yeah,
those two
I don't
together, Schaefer and Makar, holy shit. That would
like
be
I don't
fun to
have
watch.
anything necessarily against Devon Taves at all. Like I still think he's a good player, but I try to envision certain scenarios when looking at guys, and I think imagine uh Canada's playing the US or something, and the US is up 3-0, and it's like, oh, Makar and Taves are just getting dominated. They're both dash threes. Well, now can you really split them up though? Because as much as I like Devon Taves, if he's on the team, it's solely to play with Cale Makar. Like I don't think a Devon
Yeah.
Taves Colton Parayko pairing would be Olympic level worthy if you're going up against
No, they
Matthews,
would
Eichel, and Tkachuk on one line or something like that. Like if you're bringing Devon Taves, it is to play alongside Cale Makar, and if things go south, you can throw anyone with Makar,
I was gonna say
but
they'd put
you
the
can't
lines
throw
in the
anyone with
blender.
Taves.
I don't think they would straight up go 5D. I think they would bench Taves and then see who can work with Makar. Like I
Yeah,
think they would
maybe.
probably try and roll 5.
Like again, I don't want to bash on Devon Taves because I still think he is like a good defenseman, but
Yeah.
if you're taking him over some of these other guys, it is because he plays with Makar.
Yeah.
So I
And
would take Matthew Schaefer and
yeah.
see what the
And
kid can do. He's going to be on Team Canada for the
he
next
looks real good, man.
15 plus years. So why not just run it now? Wasn't it Crosby got left off the Canada Olympic team in 2006, and it was like, fuck, they should have brought him.
Yeah.
No, don't make the same mistakes here with a guy like Schaefer.
Yeah.
He's tied it for the lead in goals for defensemen with Makar.
Right there.
Just
Like
have the two top goal scoring defensemen on a pair together. That'd be
who's he
fun.
playing with? Who's Schaefer playing with normally?
Scott Mayfield.
Fun. Is he in
Yeah.
discussion for any of these teams?
Nope. Nope.
Like
I do like
yeah.
Scott Mayfield though. I will never
Yeah.
bash him.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for him.
Not quite an Olympic level player though.
Yeah. So I've got two more defensemen here, battles, and then a goaltender one for Canada here.
Okay.
Mackenzie Weegar or Colton Parayko?
That's a really good comparison. I I think I would go Mackenzie Weegar. Um Colt Parayko's a big body. He's Yeah, I mean, he's a big body, but he can't do a ton for you offensively. He's there to be, you know, you know, as
Your
much of an
stay-at-home
enforcer as
guy.
you can, and then just block all the shots.
Mhm.
But
I
I feel like the talent level at the Olympics, I feel like there's enough guys that can probably work around his shot blocking, and they'll just get to the other side. And
yeah. I
I
would
think it's
take
still very
Parayko.
tough. Yeah,
As
I think
much
that's
as I
totally
like
fair.
Mackenzie Weegar, and I think he deserves to be on the team, I would take Colton Parayko solely because he's just a good big body that can stay, be more on the defensive side, and he's a right-handed shot, which helps. Like I know Mackenzie Weegar, he's a
He can play on the
lefty,
other
but he
side, but I'm
plays on
pretty
the
sure he's
right
lefty.
side.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
in
This is
Parayko,
like
you can
a
slot him alongside either Josh Morrissey or Thomas Harley, two guys that are good two-way defensemen, but have a lot of offensive potential. So you can kind of be that little extra buffer of, hey, if you want to go up and pinch or something, like I got you if you want to make that move. Um, and I think
yeah,
that's something that's valuable. Like I think you don't need a bunch of guys that are super offensively inclined.
yeah,
Like I think I'd rather have Colton Parayko out there probably blocking shots and battle in front of the net if Canada's up 2-1 in the final minute as opposed to being like, hey, Kale McCarr, you have to go do it or something.
yeah.
I'd,
hundred
I'd rather
percent.
have Parayko being the one taking that beating in because we know he can handle it and
Yeah, and
he,
that's the
he
thing.
can give it back too.
I think Uyghur can do that as well, which is why I went with him. Like, but it's
He can. I just with how big Parayko is and
that's true.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I pick Uyghur at like a 55% compared to like a 45 for Pareko. Like, it's
hmm
if they chose between those two with a coin flip, I wouldn't complain.
yeah. The last one for defensemen here: Evan Bouchard or Travis Sanheim.
Travis Sanheim.
Yeah, I'm with you because Bouchard is probably I think he's in the top three for offensive defensemen, but he's having a pretty rough year, and you can't trust him in the defensive zone really. He's going to
He's
make bad turnovers,
yeah,
and if you do it against the fourth line and you do it against Nick Cousins, that's fine. You do it against the fourth line for the Americans, it's probably Dylan Larkin you're turning it over to.
yeah. Like
Like you
it.
turn
Yeah,
it over to any player, they're probably going to make you pay
the
in the
Olympics are
Olympics.
killers row. You can't have those moments. And
Yeah.
I'm a proponent of doing the insane things sometimes. Like I'm not a huge Ovi guy. You know what I fucking love about Washington? They're not afraid for the last decade plus to have him be out there the whole 2 minutes. Oh, but what if he's tired?
Yeah.
We don't care. He'll score. Like
Yeah.
I love doing that kind of stuff. You have Kale McCarr. You're not going to run Evan Bouchard on the power play for the full 2 minutes. You've got Kale McCarr.
Yeah. And
So
then you've also got guys like Thomas Harley, Josh Morrissey. Like you have other
plenty of
guys that are
phenomenal
very
options.
good. Yeah. And I
Eh,
think Thomas
There's
Harley
just
could
no
do
reason to
just
take
as
him.
good with McDavid and McKinnon and Crosby. Like
Yeah,
I think
probably.
they can do exactly what Bouchard could do. And again, I still think like I said, Bouchard's one of the best offensive defense in the league, but you've got Kale McCarr. You've kind of got the one guy that
Yeah.
does that even better. So
I, I
for that,
keep
I'd go
seeing
Sanheim and
people.
let Sanheim get maybe Sanheim only plays 14 minutes, but
He impressed
he's
me in the
probably
formations.
he's probably not going to make bad turnovers, and if he gets beat, he might actually be able to get back and beat the guy or something. Like
Yeah,
you can trust him more, at least I think.
I've seen quite a few people making the argument of like why would Team Canada nerf themselves by taking guys like Nick Suzuki? Like why do you need him? Why don't you just take all the best scorers? You know, uh, why bring Colton Parayko? Just take Evan Bouchard. Just overload on offense and don't allow the other team any offensive zone time. And it's like, that's a fun idea in practice, but you're those other teams are too good. They're too good
Yeah.
for you to stomp in the ground like an AHL squad. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to hold Matthews flanked by both Tkachuk brothers and oh, he goes off the ice. Oh, Jack Eichel's on. Like, you're not going to be able to hold these teams to 0 shots. That's not going to happen. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Like
I
you're
definitely think
not.
they don't need to focus on it a ton, but
Yeah.
you need at
No, I get
least
what you're
one
saying though, because you're
shutdown
not.
forward and D line.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Because you're not. You're building an Olympic team, but basically, for the kind of the major four, that is probably going to be maybe Czechia gets in there, maybe Slovakia, potentially Germany, but like Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden. That's kind of what you're preparing for. You're preparing for those other teams. Canada's not going in being like oh, we got a game plan and build our roster for going up against Italy or whatever. Like you're
Yeah.
preparing for when you get to that knockout stage and you're going up against these other dominant teams. These teams that are going to push you to your limits and very well could beat you.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
you're
the same.
preparing for.
It's the same as building a team in the NHL. If you're a Western Conference team, you have to try and build your team to beat Colorado, Edmonton, Dallas,
Yeah.
Vegas. If you're in the East, you have to build your team to beat Florida, the Hurricanes, the Lightning. Like you have to prepare to beat the best to win the tournament. So,
Yeah, like if Canada's playing Sweden and say Kale McCarr hits a guy from behind, gets 5 in a game, and you just bring all the best players. Well, now are you asking? Like, I mean, we know they can, but do you really want McDavid and McKinnon out there, blocking shots and killing penalties and like, or would you rather have guys who are good defensive players and whatnot that have been doing this for a while, and guys like
yeah.
Suzuki, like Charlie, like Hagel, like
Yeah.
it's
And
it's stuff to consider.
they're still good offensive players, Both Suzuki and Hagel, like they'd be great penalty killers and depth guys on this team. They also both put up 90 points last year. So
Mhm.
like it's not like we're signing, you know, a bunch of forward version of Jacob Slavin who each have 20 points a year but are good defensively. Like
Mhm.
it's guys who can do both.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will say one thing with it is World Juniors, yeah, just take the best players. Like because Canada's
Yeah.
proven trying to bring the
Yeah.
right players for right positions. That shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
World
The
Juniors do
juniors
take
is
best
different.
players, but
It's
yeah, when he gets to the NHL, it's a totally different uh,
yeah.
scenario. Absolutely,
With the young kids
100%.
it's very uh, every game you can tell it's the juniors, there's not a ton of incredible systems going on, you know, the
Hmm.
they haven't learned how to play these defensive systems near as well. Like one
Yeah,
good player can carve through a team. Like we know McDavid can carve through teams. He's not doing that at Four Nations or Olympics really because that's a lot of elite guys you got to get through.
yeah.
So, but in the juniors it can work. So it's definitely it's an apples to oranges kind of thing.
And the last matchup we got here for the Canada one: Logan Thompson or Mackenzie Blackwood.
They're both very good. Um, I got to go Logan Thompson though. Like frankly, I almost think he should have been a Vezina finalist last year. I believe he was fourth in voting. He fell below Darcy Kemper at the end of the year. Um, his team kind of gave up on him. The Caps really did not play very hard in the last like 8 games of the year. Once Ovi hit that record,
Hmm.
they were just coasting to the playoffs. Which I mean, fair enough. But man,
I
he
think I
was
would go
great.
Logan Thompson too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
frankly, I think
he's earned it.
as
I
Darcy
mean, I
Kemper
think
is
they both
Canadian, right?
should be. Yeah, like I think Thompson and Blackwood should probably both be on the team, but it's really starting to sound like it's going to be Bennington and Hill for
I don't know why Hill,
the
man. He hasn't been great.
for two of them.
He hasn't been
They
great
they,
this year.
they got a
He's been
soft spot for him.
injured. Oh, these guys
They got
from
a soft
Vegas are
spot for him.
killing me, man.
They
Why
got
is
a soft
Vegas
spot for
fucking
him.
with the Canadian Olympic team? Oh,
They got a soft spot for him. What can I
it
say?
really should be Binnington, Thompson, and then whoever seems hotter going into the Olympic break between Kemper and Blackwood, I would say.
I wouldn't hate that.
I
I
think
wouldn't hate
either of
that.
them would be fair. Um, Frankly, you could just go Blackwood, Kemper, Thompson, but Binnington's just shown up too many times in these huge games, big moments that
Yeah.
he's just
What
earned
he
it.
did at Four
He's
Nations
earned it.
last year, you bring him, and if
Those
he,
saves in
he
OT
he
was
goes
unreal.
cold, then you sit him, but you have to bring him because of he proved that he can do it for you.
I don't remember where I heard this. It might have been a clip from another podcast. I'm not sure where. But say Canada goes, say they make Binnington the starter, say they win. How close are we to Jordan Binnington being a Hall of Famer? Like
It's tough to
goalies,
say.
goalies are a lot less about these counting stats than players. I feel like a lot of it comes down to trophies, hardware, and dude's got a Stanley Cup. He's got the Four Nations win, which we know, we don't know how much it'll count, but we know it will count, especially what he did specifically. If he gets an Olympic gold as the
I think
number one starter,
you might still need another Stanley Cup or a Vezina or something, I think.
like,
Or he's got to play till he's like 40 because he did kind of start a little bit later.
fair.
But I mean that does also happen with goalies. That goalies don't immediately jump in, right? It's an interesting debate, absolutely. But I think you
Yeah.
probably need at least one more award of some sort in there.
Yeah. How close was he to
Vezina, I
getting the
think,
Conn
would really
Smythe?
help. I'm not 100% sure. I
'Cause I
don't
know he
quite.
was very good in their
I don't quite
playoff run.
remember on that.
But
Yeah, I can't quite remember that. It's too
yeah,
long ago.
I just heard some people talking about it lately, and I was like, it's a really interesting argument because
Interesting. Yeah.
gut reaction is like, oh come on, like what? Like he's getting in the same place as Lundqvist and Fleury, but also like, man, though any of those big games he's been asked to show up in, he's fucking done it.
He has,
So
absolutely.
interesting topic.
Now we can move on to the ones that I got here for the Americans. I think
All
I
right.
have one less because some of the spots are just too locked down that I can't even throw
Right.
guys in those spots. The first one we got here.
I gotta pretend I'm a fan of their team, right? I can't just pick all the worst
Yeah,
players. Okay.
yeah, no.
Just making sure.
We got a couple Americans playing on Canadian teams here, and very, very different players. So we'll see which one you'd value more: Matthew Nyes or Cole Caulfield.
Cole Caulfield. I love Matthew
Wow.
Nyes as a player. Matthew Nyes is so sick. I would love him on my team, but dude, Cole Caulfield is, not incredibly dissimilar to Binnington. Definitely a less scale, but like anytime it's overtime, he goes out there and scores. Whether it doesn't matter if both his line mates are changing and it's a 1-on-3, he just walks through and scores from a insane angle. Like he has a clutch factor that I don't think has been properly on display because his team hasn't made the playoffs much and he hasn't been invited
Yeah.
to these kinds of things. I could definitely see him having a 2 goal and an assist game in a gold medal game.
I agree with you on everything you said. I would still go Matthew Nyes because I think Matthew Nyes is more universal. I think you can basically slot Matthew Nyes anywhere and he can make it work. Whereas I think Cole Caulfield has to, while still a very good player, has to be more in certain situations with certain players. Whereas like Matthew Nyes, you can slot him anywhere with anybody and he can make it work because of his style of play. So I think I would just take that on where that, you can kind of just move him anywhere.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's an incredibly fair point.
And
That's
he's
a
a
really
hell
good
of a
comparison.
net front presence too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that, if you have Matthew on one line, Brady on the other, and then Nyes on another one, you've got three guys that can just
That's
create
not fun
havoc
to
in
play
front of the net.
against.
And if you're up against Binnington, you could potentially rattle him pretty good. Hopefully not though. Like hopefully Bennington can keep his cool, but it could be tough with guys like that. Jake Gensel or Jason Robertson?
Jake Gensel.
Both good players, but kind of a little bit different.
Definitely
Gensel?
different. Both good, very good point producers. I would say Robertson probably a bit more points, Gensel a bit more goals. Both very good defensively. Gensel is a lock for Team USA for me. The way he performed, I think he was teetering on that point last year. But for my money, he was a top 3 player for Team USA in the Four Nations. He was so good for them that, kind of similar to Binnington, I just feel like through the last tournament, he's just earned his way onto this team for sure. I think Robertson should probably also be on the team.
But for me, it's Gensel. The sole reason it just comes down to skating for me. Jason Robertson, terrific player, but one of the I never like saying worst when it comes to a player because in the NHL, but in terms of in the NHL, one of the worst skaters.
Definitely compared to other superstars.
And that can hurt in the Olympics, especially with the bigger ice. It's
the bigger ice. You're going up against
tough.
You always got to plan for the best, He's a good defensive player. We'll line match him with McDavid. Oh, well, maybe he's a bit fast. Maybe we'll take him to the second line. Okay, McKinnon. Like, he's getting burned.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. That's fair.
Tage Thompson or JT Miller?
That is an interesting one. We're not just going on ice stuff, are we? We're kind of taking the whole package into account.
Yep, the whole player. Which player would you take?
No, you know what? The way you said it at the end there changed my mind again. You said, who would I take? If I'm in charge of it, I would take Tage Thompson.
Okay. I would be JT Miller. As much as I like Tage Thompson, I would love to see him on the team.
And he would be such a nasty net front. Imagine being Binnington, having guys like Eichel and Matthews shoot the puck at you while Thompson's fat ass is in front of you. That's got to be tough to deal with. Miller, obviously,
100%.
That team clearly likes him. He's good especially with the Tkachuks. He's a captain of the New York Rangers. He's plays a good two-way game. Usually, sometimes he decides not to, but for the vast majority of the part, he plays good two-way game. Good point producer. I think Tage Thompson this last 2 years has really turned it up as well, and he's got a nasty shot. I think he could be a huge help to that team.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think they probably should both make it, but
probably if I had to pick one, I would go JT Miller solely because of the defensive side of the game. Just taking that into account and what he brings is something that I think the Americans would definitely need. Because again, you probably don't want, even though we know they're good defensively, you probably don't want Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel, being on your PK every game. If you need them to for the gold medal game or whatever, or bronze maybe, sure. But you probably want some other guys that can do that, and we know JT Miller can be very effective at that.
Yeah.
A couple of players here that you are obsessed with, I'll say.
Okay.
Lane Hudson or Jackson Lacombe. So apparently Jackson Lacombe's name is starting to get thrown out there a little bit.
That's
which
pretty
I'm
interesting.
kind of surprised about, but it's there. So
I love the idea of it, but it's got to be Lane Hudson. He's done it better for a little bit longer. Lacombe, his team's on fire right now. He's logging like 26 minutes of time on ice most games, and he's not really putting on many points. Like, he's just not having a hand in a lot of it. To my knowledge, he's not, a defensive stalwart. Like, he's good defensively, but he's not an incredible shutdown guy. He's still more of a two-way guy. So, yeah, I think I would probably have to say Lane Hudson, and maybe you put him with a Slavin, maybe you shelter his minutes a bit, and he plays a good bit on probably power play. Well, it would have to be at least power play too, because they have Quinn Hughes. Does he even sniff that? They got Zach Werenski.
So that's kind of where I'm at, right? Like, I'm kind of looking at it.
Probably neither.
If I was going to say probably neither. If I had to pick one, I would probably go Jackson Lacombe, and it's the exact same reason why Travis Sanheim over Evan Bouchard. Evan
Yeah.
Bouchard overall is the better player. Lane Hudson overall is the better player than Jackson Lacombe. But you again, when you've already got Quinn Hughes and Zach Werenski, so and you probably aren't having Lane Hudson out there on the penalty kill. You're probably not having him out there at the end of the game, so it's like
You know what?
you're
I
bringing him,
think
but
you're
he's
right.
hardly probably playing. It's kind of the shit thing, right? As good as he is, you're behind Quinn Hughes and Zach Werenski.
Yeah. You know what? I think you're right.
Pretty
I'm
tough.
changing my answer to Lacombe as well for those reasons. Like
But
it's
realistically,
just his
probably
team
neither
fit.
on the team. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we'll go some right-hand defensemen here. Brock Faber or Seth Jones?
Ooh. That's a fun one. I think I would take I'm gonna go with Brock Faber. I like his defensive game a little bit more. I have a
I'm
feeling you're gonna go
Team
Seth
Seth
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
Brock Faber's
And
had
that's fair.
a very rough go this year. And
That's
I
fair.
really like
I
where
haven't
Seth Jones
kept
has
up on him.
come over the last bit, especially showing that when he's not having to be the number one guy, like this is kind of the first time since he was all the way back on Nashville, where it's like he didn't have to be the number one guy. He could kind of just go out there, do his thing, and I mean he's been incredible for
Yeah.
Florida when it's not he's not being forced to be a number one guy when we all know he's not a number one guy.
Yeah.
But like as a third pair guy, just goes out there and does his thing. I think could be fun. But I do like both players a lot. Like I
Yeah.
really like Brock Faber, but
That's fair. I haven't
his
seen
play this year has definitely got me a little bit worried.
Does it feel like it's him or the team or both? Because I know the Wild are doing
I
not
think
good
it's a
this year.
mixture. I think it's a little bit of both, for sure. I don't think it's necessarily
Kind of like
one
the
or
Rangers
the
last
other.
year. You know, the entire
Exactly.
team's down.
Absolutely.
So, okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
fair enough.
The last one here, this is the only one where there's three, because I'm assuming Hellebuck and Ottinger are the 1 and 2 for the Americans. For the third goalie, Thatcher
Sure.
Demko, Jeremy Swayman, or Dustin Wolf.
That's a really good one.
It
Ah,
is, right?
man.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to go first and maybe that'll get in your head a bit?
Yeah. Yeah, let's hear
I'm going back on it.
it.
Okay, I'll put you through it. So I was originally going to say Swayman
Yep.
because if called upon, like if Hellebuck and Ottinger both go down with an injury or they both suck or something, you need to go with Swayman. He has proven that at least in the playoffs he can be a good goalie and get it done. We haven't seen it the last bit. Last year was kind of a weird year at the contract thing, and Boston kind of becoming a shitter in the league.
Good than
So
bad.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say Swayman, but then I was like, well, Wolf's potentially your guy in the future. And it is very tough because like Ottinger is still a very young goalie, Swayman's still a young goalie, Hellebuck's not. He's got a little
I
bit
think he's
left in him still.
32. Like, goalies can
Um,
play until they're 40.
so I was like, you take Wolf and give him the experience. Kind of similar to what I mentioned before. Like you bring the young guy, even if he's not going to play, even if he only plays against, sorry, but Italy, or some game. Just get him out there a
Kazakhstan,
bit.
whoever.
Yeah, just give him some experience, and so I think Demko's the one where I'm like, unfortunately, no.
I was gonna
Just
say
due
I'm
to
kind of
the fact that he's already got an injury this year is already kind of scary. And
unless he's very hot going into when they pick the team or the Olympic break.
yeah,
I think he's kind of out. The other two, yeah, that's a good point. Like this third goalie, there's a very high chance that they are not playing
yeah,
because Hellebuck's the guy, and you still got Ottinger in front of you.
yeah,
Swayman's been a little rougher as of late, but not terrible, and he's definitely shown in the past that he can be phenomenal in the playoffs. Wolf is, more hit or miss, but he can be so lights out as well. It might be the call to bring him and get him that experience,
it's
but
kind of the way I'm leaning.
at the same time, it's the Olympics. You can't pick a guy planning for the next Olympics. You plan to win now. So I would
You're right.
they're
Okay,
two
Swayman.
frankly, I would just whoever is better in the month and a half leading up to when they pick the team. Like I think
Hmm?
they're close enough that it's just who looks better. Like look at whether you're looking at save
Yeah,
percentage, goals saved above expected might be better for where their teams are at, and just who's been the hot hand.
I don't hate that.
Because
Yeah, I'm still leaning Swayman actually now, but I don't even hate that. Yeah, go with
yeah,
whoever's hotter at the time
I
when you have to make the call.
I think Swayman gets the tiebreaker if they're that close, but I do think you go who's looking better more recently. If they're that close, then you probably just lean to Swayman because he's got the experience.
Mhm. I didn't do this for Canada because Canada's just very obvious. But if it was your pick, if you're running the show for the Americans, who are you giving the C to?
I figured that would be the question. Um,
We probably know who it's going to end up going to, but I'd like to just get your opinion, your input.
the captain of the U.S. team. There's a couple of answers. I'm interested because you said I'm pretty sure I know who you're going with, but we're not talking about Team Canada yet. Um,
No,
there's a
I'm
couple
pretty
of
sure I know who the Americans, like who they're actually going to choose.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's honestly a couple guys they could go with. I think there's a very strong chance they just go with Austin Matthews.
I think that's
But
what they are going to do.
if they if it were up to me on that team, I think I give it to Jack Eichel. I think he's won. He's not the captain of his American team, but he's probably going to be the next captain once Stone is out of there. He's kind of he's just always been fantastic for him, and he's got that attitude about him. Like, I don't think you want to give it to somebody too hot headed. I don't think you give it to either of the Kachucks, but I
Yeah,
think I think Eichel
and
runs
even
that
they
good
know
line
that.
between. Yeah, I think Eichel runs that good line between a guy that refs will respect. You could talk to him good, but he's got some of that fuck you to him. So
I agree with everything you say. If it up to me, I'd go Quinn Hughes.
I thought about it. I definitely thought about it. Um, yeah, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad pick either. But
I think they've got quite a few good options. Like I don't like if you go between Hughes, Eichel, Matthews, like I don't think you can go wrong with any of those picks.
yeah,
I think all three are fantastic options. I think they're gonna go with Matthews because he was the captain at Four Nations last year.
very marketable
Even though
player, obviously.
very rough tournament for him. Um, I think they're still just they're gonna go with what they had and
Yeah,
yeah. I know,
yeah.
obviously didn't do it for Canada because they're probably gonna pick Sidney Crosby. I would pick Sidney Crosby. You would pick Sidney
I would
Crosby.
pick
We
Sidney
all would. We
Crosby.
all pick Sid the Kid. So I figured
If they tried to give
what's
it to
the point of that?
McDavid, he wouldn't take it.
Yeah, no one would.
Like
No,
he,
you don't
he
do
would be
that.
like, "Yeah, hey, congrats, Connor. We want to make you the captain at the Olympics." Oh shit! What happened to Crosby? Like
Is he not
he's gonna have
playing?
a
Like,
panic attack. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it. Yeah, I
Um,
actively think he doesn't want it as long as
yeah,
Crosby's on that team.
absolutely. But that is it for our Olympic segment. We'll have that. I don't know if we'll be doing it every week, but it's something we're going to be doing pretty frequently on the road to the Olympics. So we'll be having some episodes that'll feature a pretty big Olympic segment. It's something fun to talk about and speculate and look forward to. We will be doing more of these down the road, featuring some other countries. Those ones will be a little bit tougher to do, but I will make sure that I can
Yeah,
come up with some good ones and some fun ones we can do there.
Yeah, have to do a bit of our
Um,
research.
yeah. Let me just get this timestamp here, like a good boy.
Good boy with the timestamp.
So we're on to our final segment now, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir. We still have a game.
We do. We do. We have a fun one. We've only done this one a couple of times, but I wanted to bring it back. So I had fun last time, and I hope you did. And if you didn't, well, fuck you.
Oh,
We are going to be doing odds matcher. We did it before for the Heart, I believe, is what we did a couple
yes,
weeks
it was the
ago.
heart.
These are the current odds as of right now, and this is from FanDuel. I went with FanDuel for this one.
Not a sponsor.
And this is not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. We can't even get FanDuel here. So The
Fuck 'em.
Jack Adams. Coach of the Year we're going to be doing.
Okay.
If this is your first time being here for Odds Matcher, I've got 5 coaches. I've got 5 odds, and this is to win the Jack Adams. And it's up to you at home and up to Braden to match who with who.
Yeah, this is not us saying you should bet on this or anything like that. We're not endorsing any of that. It is
It's just kind
simply
of
a
to give
way
a
to see people who are keyed into the world of hockey, what the general population, or I guess at least the betting population, sees as the most likely things to
most
happen.
likely to win. Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
gauging on what's likely to happen more than anything.
Mhm. Yeah, because I'm not going out and asking 1,000 people who they're doing. This is easy to just find it this way, right? You ready for your 5 coaches?
I am.
So we've got Dan Muse of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Dan Muse.
We got Martin St. Louis of the Montreal Canadiens. We got Andre Turney of the Utah Mammoth. Not the hockey team, not the Eddie, the Mammoth. We got Todd McClellan of the Detroit Red Wings. And we have Joel Quenneville of the Anaheim Ducks. Almost want to say mighty there, but I didn't.
They're
Got
kind
them
of
all there?
mighty, Nick. They're kind of mighty again. Yep.
Kind of. And then your odds here, in no particular order, we have plus 500, plus 900, plus 700, plus 340, and plus 2,500.
Okay. All right. And I guess I will get to sorting those now. Right away, I think I'm going to. I'm going to put 340. So the most likely on Quenneville.
Okay.
I think the Ducks have been doing fantastic, and even if they don't keep up what they're doing, uh, they've just improved so much last year. They're so
Mm-hmm.
much better offensively. Uh, all their young guys have taken a huge step, and that's in a huge part to Quenneville. So I'm going to put him as the favorite at 340.
Okay.
I think.
And again, these aren't like the top 5. Like these, I pick guys randomly.
Yeah. Turney in Utah, I think I'm going to go with 500. So the next most likely. They've had a pretty decent start. Actually, I think they might have even fallen off a little bit as of late, but I think he was one of the big favorites going into the year.
I think he was the favorite going into the season,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was a big favorite, so obviously that helps. The team's been decent. I'm not actually sure at this point where they are in the standings, but I think he's still got a very good shot at it. Utah's got a good shot of making the playoffs. After that, so we got 700, 900, and 250 left.
2,500.
2,500.
Yeah. Correct.
So the Penguins are doing good right now, but like, so if they chose it right now, he'd be very much in the running. But do people expect the Penguins to be that good all year to the point where he's got decent odds to win it?
You tell me.
It's crazy having so many close ones, and then the 2,500 down there, because there's a couple of guys that feel like they should be down there. I'm gonna go at 700. I'm gonna try and win. I'm not gonna do what I necessarily think. I am gonna try and win at the game and do better on that. So I'm gonna put at 700 St. Louis with the Habs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 900 with Dan Muse, and at 2,500 I'm gonna go Todd McClellan.
Okay. So you're going Joel Quenneville at plus 340, Andre Tourney plus 500, St. Louis plus 700, Dan Muse plus 900, and Tom McClellan plus 2,500.
Yeah, I don't feel great about McClellan there because I think the Habs or the Red Wings. I know they started really good. I don't know where they're at this point, but
Fine Lance are locking it in.
I feel like St. Louis is going to be higher up. Like I feel like he's not the lowest one here, but I feel like he kind of should be because we now know what the team is, right? Like they're not exceeding expectations by making the playoffs. Like I'm gonna lock it in though.
Locking it in.
I don't want to overthink it too much.
You got 60%. You got 3 of the 5 correct. So you only have 2 that are in the wrong
Okay.
spot.
I was expecting to get 2 out of 5 right, so I will take 3.
That's better than you did last time, at least off the rip. So
Yeah.
there's that. But you got 2 so obviously you got 2 in the wrong spot. So 2 you got to flip.
Would it be McClellan and St. Louis?
Flipping those 2 would not get you there. Nope.
Is it McClellan and Muse?
Flipping those 2 would not get you there.
No. Wow. Is it St. Louis and Muse?
Nope. Wouldn't get you there.
Do I have the top 2 correct? Quenneville and Turney. Or is Turney
You have
lower
the top
at this
2
point?
correct? No.
Okay. Swap Turney and St. Louis.
Swap Turney and St. Louis. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Joe Quenneville plus 340, St. Louis plus 500, Turney plus 700, Dan Muse plus 900, Tom McClellan plus 2,500. I threw McClellan there because I was like, wow, that is...
It's rough.
I like how you put him there first, but then once you got him wrong, you immediately wanted to take him out of there, which...
Yeah.
I still kind of tricked you at least a little bit there, because I was surprised.
Oh, yeah. Well, because
Tom
the
McClellan
Pens could easily fall off, be a bottom 5 team, so, like, it is still a long shot, even though they look good right now. St. Louis should not be that high up. I love him as a coach, don't get me wrong, but yeah, their team is just they're already good. Like they're not taking this huge leap that some of these other teams kind of appear to be taking.
And it is
I do like him being ahead of McClellan, but
I will say that Quenneville, St. Louis, Turney, and Muse, they are the top 4 in terms of the odds. And then McClellan is down there a bit, but I was like, I had to throw him in there because I feel like he should be higher because Detroit is doing really well, and they've been, bad for the last however long.
Yeah,
and McClellan's come in and got him going the right path, and maybe he's a bit lower because he came in like halfway through last year. It's not like he came in at the start of this season and has already got him on track. He's already been there for a bit, which maybe hurts him a bit. The St. Louis one was a bit surprising because I still think he's a great coach. I think he's doing great with Montreal, but like you said, Montreal's doing good, but we're also, we're not shocked by
that's why all these names are what they are.
Way up there, and
if it was just the best coach, we'd be talking about like John Cooper and Paul Maurice and Bednar,
the Jack M's kind of the coach that takes a team that really it's basically the coach that takes a team that probably shouldn't make the playoffs, but they do.
It's kind of the most improved award a lot of the times.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's just the coach, kind of gets it because they got him there.
I would love a most improved player award as well. I think that would be very fun.
That would be tough to do, though. Ooh, that would be tough. Maybe we'll do that at the end there. Maybe we'll
have
do
the
our
players vote on it. Fuck it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Get on board with that.
That'd be cool.
But that is it. Now we are at the end of the episode here. We hope you all had fun. We had fun. We always have fun here. If you want to talk hockey, if you have any player matchups you'd like us to talk about or comment on for who we would take between certain players for the Olympics, you can do so through any of our socials or on the YouTube comments. We see a lot of you coming over the YouTube and would love to chat with you. Gonna be a fun weekend. A lot of good hockey coming up. Penguins and Nashville currently playing in Sweden right now. The NHL once again didn't market that very well. I was going to say about it 2 days ago. So
I just found out about it now. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, some games happening right now.
Bro,
Yeah.
we have a
So
hockey podcast with over 200 episodes now, and I didn't know about it. How on earth is any regular hockey fan going to know about this?
it's
Like,
they don't market it very well.
oh man, come on.
But if you want to talk hockey in any way, be sure to let us know. Go Riders this weekend, all the way. Braden, before we ride off into the sunset for a fun weekend, final thoughts.
Final thoughts? Let us know in the comments for sure on some of these fringe players, especially the either or players that we went over earlier. Who do you guys think is going to be in making these Olympic teams? Who do you think is going to make the team? Who do you think, is there a player that we liked that you specifically think shouldn't be on the team? Let us know, because it's it's always fun to speculate with these teams who's going to be on there or not.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But that is it for this one. We'll see all of you lovely people out on the ice next week.